Welcome back to Girl Boss SA, where we're all about giving you the tools to tap into your magic. I'm all about unlocking our ancient wisdom to empower our modern lives. And today we're going to explore how aligning with the seasons can supercharge your personal growth. So the basis of every explanation that I give always requires a basic understanding of what astrology actually is, a symbolic system that was developed by our forefathers through their study of celestial bodies. They very carefully observed the movements and the positions of celestial bodies like the planets, the sun, the moon, and they took meticulous notes of their correlation to the events and the experiences on Earth. They recorded how planetary movements reflect and influence human behavior, emotions, and life cycles. Over time, they learned to interpret these movements and provide insight into how celestial placements influence personality traits, life paths, and even our collective experiences. So the word astrology itself is rooted in the original study of celestial bodies. Astrology and astronomy were often used interchangeably to describe the study of celestial phenomena. But as the scientific methodologies developed through the Renaissance, they separated the two, like they did with alchemy and chemistry. Chemistry and alchemy were the two terms that were used to describe the kinetic studies of nature, but the terms were later separated by the Greeks, classifying chemistry as the study of real science and alchemy as the exploration of the spirituality within science. So in the same way, astronomy became distinct as the empirical study of celestial objects, while astrology focused on their symbolic meanings and their influences. So astrology seems to kind of been bastardized in the modern day. We don't pay enough attention to the science of it. We've forgotten the fundamental laws of nature that govern astrology and what they truly mean. For instance, a Taurus isn't a creative, sensual person just by mere coincidence. Their physical body enters the Earth's atmosphere at a point of active creation, where spring has just occurred, so everything in our natural environment encouraging the energy of creation at that time. Entering the natural environment during that time affects your nature in various ways. And additionally, the placements of celestial bodies shape the individual aspects of your being. So in this video, I'd like to just briefly break down the fundamentals of tropical astrology, which focuses more on the seasons of the Earth, because this way of tracking nature is more grounded and it's easier to follow than the movements of the planets through the stars. So I'm hoping that I can simplify that as much as possible so that we can start getting into sidereal astrology and the movements of celestial bodies. The solar cycle begins at spring. As spring begins, nature awakens with a surge of energy. The longer daylight hours trigger plants to bud, animals to mate, and ecosystems to regenerate. This season's vitality inspires personal growth and a drive for action. This was called the season of Asa in ancient Kemet, symbolizing resurrection and fertility. They always painted him green to represent this burst of life. And in that time, our physiological response is increased serotonin and dopamine levels. This is the season of emergence, which is then followed by what we would call Taurus season, originally Heter season, Heteru, the house of Heru, the goddess now known as Hathor in Greek mythology. This is the season of stability and growth, because this is the time when spring is in full bloom. Nature reaches a state of steady growth. Fertile soil supports crops, flowers flourish in this time, and this stability encourages grounding and appreciation for the beauty of life. Our ancestors personified the season as Heter season, a goddess that embodies joy, sensuality, and fertility, because this is when humans experience heightened sensory appreciation. That's why Taurans are said to be beautiful and creative and sensual and also quite indulgent. And then there's Jehuti season, which we call Gemini season. Jehuti also came to be known as Thought or Thoth in Greek mythology. Jehuti season is the season of communication and adaptation, because late spring brings rapid growth and movement in nature, from pollination to the patterns of migration. The dynamic interplay of ecosystems highlights adaptability and the exchange of energy, because it's mirrored by Jehuti, the deity of wisdom and communication. Biologically, in the season, we're more alert and socially active because we're responding to peak sunlight and its energizing effects on the brain. And then that season is naturally followed by the season of nurturing and reflection, like we spoke about in the previous video, what we call Cancer season, Neptet. This is reaching the summer solstice, the beginning of summer, the time when we're receiving maximum sunlight and the earth's warmth is nurturing life. Rivers and lakes swell, and the nurturing energy of water sustains ecosystems. The higher temperatures of this time encourage hydration and emotional recalibration. And then that season is followed by Leo season, which we're currently in at my time of filming this video. In the southern hemisphere, it's between the 21st of January and the 21st of Feb. Leo season was originally called Heru season, who we now call Horus in Greek mythology. And this is the season of radiance and leadership. The sun still dominating, bringing intense heat and vitality. Life is vibrant and visible. Animals thrive and the crops mature. This radiant energy is reflected in Heru, the solar deity of courage, leadership, and victory. The increased exposure to sunlight elevates vitamin D levels, boosting our moods and encouraging confidence, self-expression, and social connection. Then we move to Virgo season, which we originally called the season of Gep. This was the season of harvest and preparation. Because summer begins to wane, nature begins its transition toward harvest. Plants bear fruit and ecosystems shift to prepare for the colder months ahead. The human body in this time feels compelled to organize, to plan, and focus on wellness. This is then followed by Libra season, originally called Oset. She was renamed Isis in Greek mythology. This is the season of balance and harmony. The autumn equinox begins the season of Libra. This is on the 21st of March, what the Northern Hemisphere will know as the spring equinox, because that's when they're having their spring equinox, and that's their Easter time. Our Easter time is the 21st of September, when we have our spring equinox. That's the time when we should all be outside engaging with nature, with the rebirth of the natural cycle. That's where practices like Easter egg hunts came from, because it's about getting children to be outside and engage with nature. So it doesn't make sense to have Easter egg hunts and stuff during the autumn equinox, because that's like the sunset of the year. The equinox brings balance. The word equinox itself means equal night, because it's the only time in the year where we have equal day, equal night. The cycle reaches a state of equilibrium where it's balancing itself out, which thereafter begins either longer days or longer nights. So the 21st of March in the southern hemisphere begins Libra season. This is when it begins to get darker, when the nights begin to become longer. The trees shed their leaves to conserve energy, while animals adjust their behaviors for the coming winter. Oset was personified as the goddess of balance and love, as daylight decreases, fostering reflection and a desire for relational balance. And thereafter, we just go deeper into the darkness with Anpu season, what we now call Scorpio season, mid-autumn. This is a time of decay, as the fallen leaves enrich the soil and animals prepare for hibernation. The cycle of death and renewal begins, and this is how they personified Anpu. He is the guide of souls and the master of transitions. This is the season of inward transformation. The season is just naturally meant to draw you inward so that you go through a period of real reflection, just deep introspection, which I love, because this initiates spiritual growth. This is actually the season that I was born in. This is basically a season where your biological processes kind of slow down in preparation for winter. And we start to reach the height of winter when we enter what we call Sagittarius season, what was originally called Sekhmet season, Sekhmet Bast, the great cat. This is a season of expansion and adventure. Think of a cat, the versatility of a cat, and the capabilities of feline creatures in general. Nature in this time just becomes more open and expansive. This is when migratory animals start to travel great distances, and the natural world reflects this pursuit of new horizons. So when you think about the nature of cats, even within the animal kingdom, with lions, for instance, the female lions go out to hunt for their food. They're the ones that hunt together. They have to strategize, they have to be sharp, and they have to be adaptive. And then we reach the winter solstice, which kicks off Capricorn season, or what we would call set season. This is the time when the sun has completely set to like maximum capacity. What's the opposite of the word zenith? That word, where it's like underneath us, where it's like the darkest point of night. So it's like the midnight of the solar cycle. And this is the point of complete retreat. The trees at this point are doing their best to conserve their resources. Animals are hibernating. It's just about survival at this point. And then it's followed by Ma'at season. Ma'at is there to restore balance and order. She's what they'd call the goddess of law and order. She came with the 42 laws of Ma'at, and this is in late winter, when nature begins to anticipate renewal. The ice begins to thaw in snowy places, water cycles begin to shift, and ecosystems prepare for spring. Ma'at represents the truth and the order of things. She inspires collective vision and forward thinking. And then lastly, we have what we call Pisces season. Pisces season was called Newt season. Newt is the season of dreaming and completion. I usually say this is the season where we get a lot of vivid dreams. It's the everything season because it contains elements of all of the different zodiac signs. The original goddess of Pisces, she represented the entire Mazzaroth, the entire 360-degree belt that houses all of these constellations. So as we transition from winter to spring, the earth has this feeling of like a pause, reflecting this deep stillness before renewal. Nut is the goddess of the sky. She's the goddess of infinite potential. She's the one that embodies the season of dreaming and spiritual connection. This is a time when we're naturally more drawn to introspection in an artistic, expressive way. Because in this time, we kind of mirror the completion of one cycle and the anticipation of a new cycle. So all of these seasonal changes that are shaped by natural phenomena provide the foundation for zodiacal archetypes. And by aligning with these rhythms, we can better understand our own cycles of growth, rest, and renewal. It's like getting a weather forecast for your life. It just helps you to prepare and adapt. Using the knowledge of seasonal energies allows us to live in harmony with nature's rhythms. It enhances our personal growth and our well-being. So the way to translate all of this wisdom, right, into practical steps that you can incorporate into your daily life. It begins firstly with observance. Nature is the most intelligent teacher. So we just have to be open to observing and learning from it. Acknowledge the changes in sunlight, in temperature, in plant life, in animal behavior. Reflect on how these changes affect you, how they affect your moods, your energy levels, and your focus. Observing nature just fosters a deeper connection, bringing balance to your personal cycles. Secondly, try to align your goals with the seasonal changes. Plan your activities based on the energies of the season. Like spring. Spring is the time to start new projects and to set goals, like growth-oriented goals. And then summer is the time to focus on creativity, on expression. And then autumn is the time to reflect on your achievements, refining basically your plans of execution. And then winter is just a time to rest, a time to consolidate your resources and essentially prepare for renewal. Aligning with the flow of the seasons reduces resistance and it enhances productivity and fulfillment. What you want to also do is, I guess my third point, practice seasonal intention setting. Use each zodiac archetype to guide your intentions. Intention setting focuses your energy on the most supportive actions and it just amplifies your efforts. It's really just about rituals. When I say rituals, I mean whatever it is that you're incorporating into your daily life. Rituals just help to anchor your intentions. And something that would really work in collaboration with that is what I call like a seasonal lifestyle plan, where you adjust your routine to match the season's energy. Like in spring, you wake up earlier, be outside more, exercise. And in summer, you prioritize social activities and creative expression. And then in autumn, you focus on decluttering and setting boundaries. And in winter, you embrace rest. They say rest is a radical self-care. That's the natural thing to do. That's the proper thing to do. It's about matching your lifestyle with the season. When you're in harmony with nature's rhythms, you're more in alignment. You feel it. Things just kind of fall into place. It's a guaranteed way to ensure that you are manifesting at your maximum potential. And as you grow, look, at the end of every season, you can always adjust your goals, adjust your practices for the next phase. Just make it general practice, constantly refining it to suit your own needs, because this has nothing to do with religion. So regardless of your religious background or your culture, this is just a way of life. I think we can put the brakes on this topic for now. Thanks for watching. As always, look after yourself, love yourself, be good to yourself. Lots of love, lots of light.